This is going to be a tier list for Ainz, which is the newest Vanguard added. I have a few tiers for each of those spells. Now, keep in mind this is spells only. You're not using teams or buffs or anything like that. Just the spell itself. We have OP tier, which is self-explanatory. Good spells. They're good. They're okay. There's the Y spells. Why would you take these? They're pointless. In 90% of situations, you don't want these. And then there is the bad tier, which these spells are actually bad, and debuffs, which you should never take. They are an actual trap. So let's start. First we have Creation, which is a Blast 3 spell. Now this is a bad spell. It raises a wall and it has only 400% HP. It lasts for 30 seconds, sure. But you have a better spell here that creates 2 of these. And it has a max of 10, so you can do it 5 times over. This is just pointless. You take 2 blasts and you get a wall, it just doesn't make any sense. And it's bad too, because there's only 1 wall. Next you have Nuclear Blast. Now Nuclear Blast is a Y spell. Now it does good damage, it has 150% damage, but it has a hard cooldown of 10 seconds. This cannot be lowered by anything. This basically destroys your SPA. If your SPA is at like 7.5, this just like rises it to 10. You would never want this spell because it has such a small circle to it. It's not like a AoE spell that you say, okay, I'm AoE nuking. No, this isn't what is happening. It's just, why would you take this? It's not as bad as Creation, but it's just like, why? And there's Black Hole. Black Hole is bad. Why is it bad? Because it doesn't work. It's just the worst nuclear blast. And no matter how hard I tried to make it work, it just didn't. Then there's the Cosmic 2, Ray of Negative Energy. Now this one is actually a good spell. Now, the reason I say this is because it has a 50% slow. And this can be comboed very well with other AoE spells. So if you put it in a line, this is really good. This is really, really good. If you have no other spells, no other slows, this is really good. The downside is that it's not full AoE, so it's not like OP. But you can do a lot of funny things with this, and you can just make Ainz a solo unit, basically. And there's Supreme Summoning. Supreme Summoning is good. It's not OP. The reason is the goats have a limit of 3 and they're super slow. This doesn't do well on multi-tracks at all. If there's a multi-track, this is so bad. And sometimes it just takes so much to get the attack out because of the limit. The goats take so long to reach the enemy that sometimes you just don't get enough attacks in to do something, which is like compensated by its like 1200 attack boost. So it's not like why or bad, but it has a hard limit. It's for single DPS mostly, or like single line game modes, which is like most of the game, but it's not like OP because it's not full AoE again. Create Greater Undead is also pretty good. It's the same thing as this, they're just faster and you can have more of them. So it's better for, it's kind of better for multi-tracks. But yeah, they just die really fast. Apocalypse. Now, Apocalypse would be OP if it wasn't 50% damage, which would sit on why. Just why would you take this? You just half your damage. Yeah, it's full AoE, but you're just like halving your damage. There's no point to this. No point to this. And in the same vein, Fireball is also Y. It has a really small circle and it burns. Yeah, you're doing 150% damage. It's the same as Nuclear Blast, and with this one, you're doing 200% damage, but it's not full AoE. Basically, I would actually put the Apocalypse in good because of the full AoE, just that. But Fireball and Nuclear Blast, small circle. Wow, small circle, so no. Under control. It's his elementless spell. This is just good. This is just a full AoE spell that does damage and it can like get summons for you. It's okay. It's nothing special. It's just there. And there's Astro Smite. Now this is in Y. Now most game modes don't have Solidify or any damage reducing, so you have to run very specific game modes like Rift to make this usable, and then that is the only way. But then again, why would you run that in any other situations? Like it's the same with Fireball and Nuclear Blast. You can run these, but they will be for like super specific situations. Astral Smite is the same vein. Why would you just run this? This is bad. This is garbage. And then there's Great Heal. This is just bad. Summons, how they work in this game is that they either one-shot or get one-shotted. There is no thing where your summon is like battling for so long and you have to like heal it and it'll be super good. This is meant to be used with Greater Undead or Supreme Summoning. But the thing is, your goats either kill everything in so fast and they just mow down the lane, or they just get one-shotted by the bosses or any high HP enemy. So this in both situations doesn't matter. You're just giving up one attack. And oh yeah, I forgot to mention this. All the spells will be casted regardless if they're applicable or not, which makes some spells, hint hint, very bad. Because you're giving up one attack slot. So if you're, let's say your SPA is 10 seconds per attack, you have 4 spells. You attack 4 times, and that's it. You do 400% damage. Sure. Let's say you're doing under control. Okay. But if you replace one with a buff spell, you're taking it down. You're now doing 3 attacks. So in the same vein, this is just bad. You can be doing just normal damage. You can just do undead control and you're gonna do more damage. Except if they have like portal and you wanna like heal them, but usually only the boss's portal and bosses just one-shot the summons anyway, so it's pointless. Greater Magic Shield. This is in Y. It's a support spell, but like Ainz is such a beast unit. He's like number 1 or number 2 DPS in the game. Why would you make him a support right now? Later down the line, this is gonna go in good, like maybe in 1 year or so. But for now, it's like, why? Why would you just like make Ainz a support? But eventually this will be in good. For now, it's just like the way the game is structured, you're better off making Ainz a DPS and just not making him support. Cyclone. Now, Cyclone is actually our first OP tier. Now, keep in mind, I'm not saying the nature team is now suddenly OP. No, I'm not saying this. Cyclone is OP because it has Repulse. And if you do a 4 cycle spell, so if you have 4 spells, Cyclone actually refreshes, so you can just like always repulse them. You can always get the repulse, no matter what. And this is good. It's a full AoE spells, it does 100% damage, and it pushes back enemies. It's just super good utility. You can stall for so long using this spell because Ainz range is just insane. if you're having a hard stage, you can just like push back enemies, do damage, push back enemies. And this is why the Ray of Negative Energy is so high up too, because because you're running a 4-cycle spell. So if you use Ray of Negative Energy, you're slowing it for 50%, let's say it's a single boss, and then you're pushing him back, then you're slowing him, then you're pushing him back. The same vein, I'm gonna cheat a little bit and go higher. Paralysis is also OP. It's part of the kit, and it's part of the kit because of a reason. Paralysis stuns for 2 seconds. Might not look much, it's just doing damage, but this is basically 2 seconds off your 1 SPA spell. You're just giving yourself 2 seconds extra on 1 spell. So if you have like 10, 10, 10, 10, instead of taking 40 seconds, now you're taking 38 seconds. Yeah, that's it. You can just run paralysis, and it's gonna be good. Mostly this is because Nami has 2 types. Because she has shock and water, and you can run a unknown unit, and it's just gonna give you paralysis. Aura of the Overlord. Aura of the Overlord is good. Now, it's bottom of good. The reason is, again, as I said, this spell will be cast each time and it's taking up an attack. And because Ainz is a meta DPS unit, why would you want this? Why? There's no reason. Yeah, there's no reason. There's no reason to run this. It's stupid to run. If the only situation which I can think of is that you want to support Dio or like some other DPS units like your nukes, and it does like give a significant damage to them, which puts it in good. And it gives range, which is really important. It gives range, so this is what saves it from being pointless. It's good. It supports allies too, so unlike Greater Magic Shield, this is actually usable because it's not just a cleanse, it's a buff. You can buff Dio, you can buff yourself, and you can use this with Supreme Summoning to get like super summons out. So it's kind of good. Aura of Despair is OP. It inflicts stun, it's a better wounded, and it's a full AoE, and it's multiple hits, so it melts shields. Which also puts it above Paralysis. Paralysis is a 1 attack spell. Cyclone and Aura of Despair are multi-attack, so they're better against like dodges or shields. Yep. It's so good. You always want to run this, especially since it's Passion 2. You should always have an unknown unit for Ainz, so you can just have Speedwagon with you, and it's done. Or if you don't want to run an unknown, you can have like Brook and Speedwagon. It's gonna be like, you always want this. You will always run this. You can't escape this. Next, Grass Harp. This is Shock 3, and this is a bad spell. This is just worse paralysis. It becomes a slow circle. I think it's a 1-hit attack, but it just executes, and the execute is nonsensical. Like, how many situations are there where the enemy just survives with 15% HP and you just have to attack them again? Even if you did, this is a full circle. Like, the enemy and other enemies are gonna get attacked anyway. Let's say you have like 2 enemies and one of them like survives, and then the first one enters your range. You're still going to hit both of them with paralysis, and you're still going to like kill both of them at the same like line. With Grasp Heart, sure, you're gonna kill the first guy like here, but then the second guy is, or like the third guy or the fourth guy, they're just gonna keep coming, and you're just gonna like run out of gas. This is so bad for being such a small circle. This should be like a full circle. Rage and Haste. Now, both these spells are mathematically debuffs. these are only self spells, so they aren't like AoE things. The thing is, they're both bad. Let's say you just run the most basic damage undead control. You do 100% damage with a chance. Let's say it just doesn't have a passive 2. You just do 100% of your damage, and let's say you're doing 10k damage, for example. If you're doing 10k damage, just doing 10k damage per each 10 seconds. Sure, 10 seconds more, 10k damage, 10k damage. If you're on haste, you do 10k damage, and then you're gonna cast haste, and you're gonna do taken damage, and then you're gonna cast haste again. So you're basically just taking 16 seconds to do 10k damage instead of just doing it each 10 seconds. So your DPS goes down. Same thing for rage, even if it's a 50% buff. And I have tested these, by the way. These are actual real results. Even if you cast rage, if you're running one spell, or like if you're running 2 spell, you're gonna say undead control, again a basic spell, you're gonna do rage, and it's just like, why? You're gonna do 150k damage in 20 seconds. You know what will you be doing with 20 seconds if you just ran undead control? 200k damage. So like, even if you do 4 spells, let's say you do rage, haste, aura of overlord, and then just do, I don't know, supreme summoning to get a super summon out, you can get out the 3 goats by the time it takes you to like cycle through all the spells, which would be like 40 seconds or 30 seconds. You can have all 3 goats out instead of like having one super goat that like is the equivalent of 2 goats, and that's it. No, you'll have 3 goats. That's just a net positive. And I have tested this multiple times with DPS spells, but even with nuclear blast. Nuclear blast is the only thing that makes them break even, and even then it's just so bad because nuclear blast forces a 10-second cooldown anyway, so it's just, it doesn't synergize with the haste at all. Now, Acid Rain is OP. It's just a spell that you cast, and for 30 seconds, you're doing 20% of your damage. Basically, a 4 rotation will always cast this, and it's gonna be up all the time, almost all the time, and you're gonna do 20% of your damage each second, which translates to what it's gonna be 6 times your damage. It's an attack that does 6 times your damage because it just stays there. It's better than like Fireball or Apocalypse because it actually stays for long enough, so you're not like overcasting it or anything. But it needs to be ran in 4 spells. It's full AoE, but it needs to be ran in 4 spells. So it's, I mean, you can make an argument because you have to run it in 4 spells that it's only good, but I'm gonna put it in OP because this 4 combo, now you can change Aura of Despair for Ray of Negative Energy if you want to like do single target, but this 4 combo, this is like the best DPS combo. This does the most damage, even compared to Supreme Summoning or Undead Control and Critical Rate Undead or anything else. This does the most damage. So the way you go with this is you start with Aura of Despair, so you make them move fast, slower, and take more damage. Then you cast Acid Rain on them, or you can cast Cyclone, and then you're gonna cast Paralysis, and you're gonna just continue doing this over and over and over and over again. I would recommend doing Cyclone first and then Paralysis and then Acid Rain, but yeah, you're just gonna do this over and over, and they're gonna be pushed back so much and stunned, and then again pushed back and then stunned and then pushed back and stunned. They're gonna take so much damage, so much more damage, because you're stalling them so long. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. The damage this does is like, this combo is like 2 or 3 times their other combos. Now, there's also Water Sword, which is why. It's a line, it inflicts bubble, but it's a line spell. Why would you run this? Basically, why would you run this? This is only a boss killer with like Nuclear Blast and like Ray of Negative Energy. This is just like for single target, but AoEs are just like superior here. Because you don't have like a single boss, you don't have super boss stages, which I think they should add. They should just like add a stage that has one wave and it's just this super boss. They say good luck dealing with the boss, or it's just like a series of bosses, like they did with Anniversary, but like much more OP bosses. Now, so this is a tier list. Basically, you want to use anything above good, and anything below good is just like Y, which is mostly just like Blast and Holy and Unbound. Unbound is the worst element to use. Now, how would I fix this is I would get Astral Smite, the effect that if it has struck an enemy, it's gonna struck it again. So it's like you're just like attacking them again and again. The more they're here, like John Smith or whatever the name of the protagonist is, just gonna do them again and again. It's gonna do more damage and more damage. Greater Magic Shield doesn't need a change. It's going to get meta eventually when Ainz like fades out, but it's gonna take like a year or two. Fireball, I don't know. Fireball is just like, burn is just bad. You can't like run a burn team. And again, this is not taking into account buffs like Skuna's Vanguard familiar, or like how you can change your team. This is just like Ainz on his own, a single unit. This is a single unit, and casting Fireball is just like, why? Why would you cast Fireball? And I don't have a real solution for this. I would just say make Fireball, I don't know, make it do 200% damage maybe. Nuclear Blast needs to do so much more damage. It just needs to do so much more damage. I would go so far to say it should do, it's because it's a super small circle too, it should do like 1,500. It has to do like 10 times this damage. It's a small spell. It's called a nuke. You're not nuking the enemy. It should be your highest damaging spells, not like Supreme Summoning. I know in the anime it is Supreme Summoning, but like, you need to like nuke the guy. Water Sword is just like, the bubble effect is not good. If it created a unique bubble effect, which it didn't fade when hit, like it faded over time, this will be like super good. But for now, it's just like bad. The only way to fix this is just to make the bubble. Or another way that you can fix this is that you can change it with creation. So now you rise a water wall, and the water wall now just actually I think Water Sword is bad too. Yeah. No. This place is good. But you would just like make it a water wall, and whoever passes through this water wall is bubbled. That's how I would do it. They would take damage and they will get bubbled. They can't pass through the wall, and or like it's just a wall that doesn't have an HP. Anyone who passes through it gets bubbled. That also can work. But yeah, creation is just like stupid. You can make nuke the tree thingy. That's how I would do it. I would make water creation like a water wall and make it like a 2 water spell. Make nuke like do 10 times more damage and be a 3 blast spell, and then make this called Fusion Sword, which is basically Water Sword, and it slams down and applies, I don't know, Rupture on enemies or something. But yeah, Black Hole just doesn't work. Just make it work. Make it so that the spell is bigger and just like teleports them to the actual start of the attack. It just doesn't work. Grasp of Heart is pointless. Completely pointless. Make the execute much higher, or remove the execute and makes it so that it just destroys overshields like Whitebeard, and it's gonna be so much better, so much better. But for now, no. Greater Heal is pointless because how the game works. No matter what you do, Greater Heal is never going to be good unless you make a well, this might be a spoiler down the line for them, but like unless you make a unit that does this like super giga mega summon that is like Mega Knight and it's just gonna like tank so much. Imagine like a global cooldown summon and you can just like Greater Heal it, which is gonna like break the summon because it's just gonna mow down everyone. Unless you design multi-track stages. Yeah, this is just bad. Unless you do that, unless you give us like a Mega Knight summon, it's just bad. These are just bad by numbers. You have to at least double the numbers for them to be good. At least double the numbers. And they're gonna just, not good, they're gonna be like breaking even. Rage should give you 150% because even if it gives you 100%, it's gonna be only good in 4 spells and 2 spells is gonna be bad. But they need to be buffed at least 2 times for them to be usable. If they're buffed 2 times, then you can like use them because let's say you're taking 10 seconds for a base cast. If it's 20% and you do 4 spells, you're gonna do 40 seconds, but with haste, it's gonna be 3 damaging spells and it's gonna take 32 seconds. You're just doing 2 seconds extra. But if it was like, let's say 40%, you're gonna make it so that it's taking 16 seconds less, so you're doing it in 24 seconds instead of 30 seconds, which increases your DPS actually. They're self buffs. If there were like ally buffs too, that can work, but that's just like support Ainz. So that's just like a year from now. So that's it. It's a really good mage. I think every mage should be like this, which is basically Invoker from Dota. You have multiple spells that do multiple things. It's just that the numbers and just the effects don't make any sense. Like Invoker in Dota, you can go invisible, you can attack anyone from any range. And yeah, you can like change Fireball, so Ainz has unlimited range and he just does 1 attack in a small circle anywhere on map to the closest enemy, and it's gonna be like super useful. Like you can use this with so many game modes and it's gonna be OP. Like give it unlimited range, and I just like thought of this. Yeah, just give it Sunstrike, just make it have unlimited range and just attack anywhere on the map. Or just like give that unlimited range to Nuclear Burst. I don't know, you can balance this however you want. But yeah, he just doesn't have the utility. The spells are, the good spells are all full AoE. They're mostly multi-target and they apply an effect. So this is why these 4 are so high. Supreme Summoning is just like so good too. These spells are so good and everything else is just bad. Whenever you take out the whole AoE or it just does a lackluster effect, it's just bad. Sometimes it's just the debuff. I don't know why you didn't run the numbers. The numbers just don't work.